The great hall of the Galactic Council was silent. The air shimmered with light from hundreds of floating orbs. Each orb carried the colors of a different world. And beneath that glow stood one man, a human, alone among thousands of alien faces. His name was Daniel Ross. He was not a soldier, not a hero, not a king. He was only a diplomat chosen to represent Earth. He wore a plain black suit, simple compared to the shining robes of alien leaders, yet his eyes were steady, his hand firm. He had come to speak for humanity in front of powers that could crush Earth in a moment. The council leader raised her voice. It echoed through the hall like thunder. "Today we welcome Earth," she said. "A small world with a short history. Let us see if its people are worthy to stand among the stars." Whispers filled the chamber. Some laughed quietly, some shook their heads. Many believed humans were too young, too reckless, too weak. Yet Daniel stood tall. He said nothing, he only waited, then she appeared. The doors opened with a sound like rushing wind, and into the hall stepped Ambassador Serenia. She was tall, her skin like silver stone with patterns that glowed faint blue. Her eyes held the depth of galaxies. She moved with grace so sharp it silenced every voice. Serenia was no ordinary leader. She was chosen by her people to speak for them. She was known for wisdom, for beauty, and for being untouchable. Daniel's heart pounded as she walked toward him. Her steps echoed in his chest. She carried no crown, no weapon, yet the entire hall seemed to bend to her presence. When she reached him, she lifted her hand. For a second, the human hesitated. He remembered the warnings. Every alien race had traditions, sacred customs unknown to humans. A wrong gesture could insult, a wrong word could start war. But refusing her hand would be seen as fear. And fear was weakness. Daniel took a deep breath. Slowly he reached forward, his hand met hers. The touch was warm, too warm, as if fire lived beneath her skin. Light rippled across her silver patterns, glowing brighter. The orbs above flickered as if reacting to the moment. A hush fell over the crowd. No one spoke, no one moved. Daniel tried to pull his hand back, but she held it. Her grip was firm. Her glowing eyes locked onto his in that instant. It felt as if the world had stopped. A strange current flowed through him. His chest tightened. His thoughts blurred for a heartbeat. He saw visions, stars colliding, oceans rising. A child's cry echoing across two worlds. He gasped softly and the vision was gone. The ambassador released his hand, her face calm. But her eyes burned with something hidden. She turned away quickly, walking back to her place with a strange stiffness in her steps. The chamber erupted. Alien voices rose in chaos. Some shouted in rage, others whispered in fear. A few laughed nervously. The council leader struck the air with her staff. Silence. But silence could not cover what had just happened. Every eye stared at the human who had dared touch Serenia. Every face twisted with questions, shock, and anger. Daniel stood still. His hand still burning, he looked at his palm. But it showed nothing, only skin. Yet inside him something had changed. He felt it, deep, impossible to explain. From the corner of his eye he saw Serenia glance back at him. Only for a second, but in her gaze was fear. And something else, a secret too heavy to hide. The ceremony continued, words of peace were spoken. Promises made, but no one listened. The focus never left the human and the ambassador. Whispers spread fast, faster than fire. Already the council chamber was alive with rumor. Already alliances were shifting. Already enemies were sharpening their claws. Daniel knew nothing of alien traditions. He did not know that in Serenia's culture, the touch of her hand was more than greeting. It was more than respect. It was a bond older than memory, a bond that carried life itself. But he would know soon, for tonight the galaxy had changed. And it all began with a single handshake. The night after the council meeting, the city of Lumeris glowed under 3 moons. The towers of crystal reflected soft light, and the streets hummed with voices of hundreds of species. Merchants shouted, hovercarts floated. Strange scents filled the air. Yet one man sat alone in his guest chamber. Staring at his hand, Daniel Ross could still feel the warmth. The warmth of Serenia's touch. It refused to fade. His skin burned softly as if it carried an ember. He rubbed it again and again, but nothing changed. He tried to sleep, but every time he closed his eyes he saw the same flash, a child's cry between stars. He woke sweating, heart racing. At dawn messengers came. They brought him to the council again, but the atmosphere had shifted. The aliens no longer looked at him as just a weak envoy from a forgotten world. Now their eyes carried suspicion, anger, fear. Some even stepped back as he passed, whispering in their own tongues. Daniel did not understand their words, but he understood tone. It was the sound of warning. The sound before a storm. Ambassador Serenia was there too. Her silver skin glowed brighter than before, and the patterns on her body pulsed faint blue like veins of living light. She wore a heavy cloak as if trying to hide it. Yet nothing could hide the truth from eyes trained to watch every detail. When she spoke to the council, her voice was steady. "Peace between Earth and the Union will continue," she declared. There is no need for fear, but her people looked uneasy. Some leaned forward, others exchanged sharp words. And Daniel noticed something. Every time her gaze brushed over him, her eyes flickered with something she fought to hide. Later that day, Daniel walked through the gardens of the palace. The plants were alive in ways Earth plants were not. Glowing vines, whispering flowers, ponds that rippled without wind. He tried to find calm, but his peace was broken when a shadow moved behind him. A cloaked figure stepped close, voice low and sharp. "Human, you do not know what you have done." Daniel turned quickly. "What are you talking about?" The alien pulled back her hood, revealing deep green scales and eyes like fire. She hissed, "You touched Serenia. That is not allowed, not by anyone. Not even her own people. A bond was made. And now she carries it?" Daniel frowned, confused. "Carries what?" But before the alien could answer, guards appeared. She vanished into the vines like smoke. Daniel was left shaking, his mind a storm. That evening, during a formal dinner, Serenia collapsed. Her hand trembled, her glowing patterns blazed too brightly. She excused herself quickly, her face pale. The council tried to pretend nothing had happened, but Daniel saw the fear in their eyes. He followed quietly, slipping away from the hall. Down long corridors into a private chamber, he found her. Serenia leaned against a pillar, breathing hard, her hands pressed over her stomach. Her eyes lifted to him, wide with shock. "You should not be here," she whispered. Daniel stepped closer. "Tell me the truth. What's happening?" For a long moment she said nothing. The silence stretched heavy. Then she lowered her hands, revealing the glow beneath her skin had gathered around her stomach. Pulsing like a heartbeat, Daniel froze, his throat dry. "That's impossible," her voice cracked. "Filled with conflict, not impossible, human. In my people's tradition, the hand we give is not empty. When I took yours, when you did not let go, the bond was sealed. My body has accepted you, and now," she hesitated, her silver eyes soft with something between fear and wonder. "Now I carry your child." The words struck him like lightning. He stepped back, nearly stumbling, his heart pounded. His thoughts refused to form. "No, that can't. I didn't mean." Serenia straightened, her glow dimming as she pulled her cloak tightly. "It does not matter what you meant. The bond cannot be undone. Already they suspect. Already the council whispers, and soon the galaxy will know." Daniel's mind spun. He thought of Earth, of his people who were already treated as weak. If this news spread, if the galaxy believed he had done something forbidden, war could follow. Earth could be crushed before it even rose. But then he looked at Serenia, and for the first time, he saw not the ambassador, not the powerful figure, but a woman trembling under a weight she could not carry alone. Before he could speak, the doors burst open. Alien guards filled the room. Their weapons glowed, their voices thundered. "Step away from the ambassador, human." Daniel lifted his hands slowly, his heart racing. Serenia looked at him with eyes that silently begged him not to resist. But inside, he knew one thing. His life had just changed forever, and soon the whole galaxy would change with it. The chamber doors slammed shut. Guards surrounded Daniel. Their tall frames blocked the exit. Their weapons hummed with deadly light. The air grew heavy, thick with anger and fear. Daniel stood still, his hands raised, his eyes never leaving Serenia. Her cloak glowed faintly where it covered her stomach. She looked pale, fragile. Nothing like the untouchable figure she had been in the council hall. One guard growled, "Human, step back, you have done enough." Daniel's voice cracked but stayed steady. "I didn't hurt her, I only want answers." But the guards did not listen. They closed in, ready to drag him away before they could touch him. Serenia raised her hand, her voice, though weak, cut through the air. "Stop." "He stays." The guards froze, their eyes wide with disbelief. No one refused Serenia's command. She was not only their ambassador, she was sacred to her people. They stepped back slowly, uneasy. Daniel lowered his hands, his chest rising and falling fast. He whispered, Tell me, Serenia, what does this mean? What's happening to you? She looked at him, her eyes soft but heavy. You saw the signs, did you not? The glow, the visions, the bond between us is real. My people's law is older than any star. When one like me touches another in the sacred way, life is exchanged. My body has accepted you, and now I carry what is half mine, and half yours. Daniel's throat tightened. His mind screamed that it was impossible. Humans and aliens. Different bodies, different blood. How could such a thing be? Yet he could not deny what he saw. The glow pulsed under her skin, strong, alive, he whispered. A child? Her eyes glistened. Yes. The word struck harder than a weapon. Daniel staggered back. His hand gripped the edge of a table to steady himself. A child. His child. Not on Earth, but in this world of glowing towers and alien eyes. A child that should not exist yet did. He remembered the warning in the garden. The cloaked figure who had hissed at him. You do not know what you have done. Now he knew, and the weight was crushing. Serenia stepped closer, her cloak brushing the floor. You must understand this is not only about us. This child will change everything. For my people it is forbidden. For your people it is unthinkable. If they learn the truth too soon, they will not allow it to live. Daniel looked up, shocked. They would kill a child? Her voice trembled. They would kill me first. Then they would erase every trace of what happened. The council fears change more than war. And this child is change given life. Silence stretched between them. Filled with fear and unspoken words, Daniel's chest ached. He had come as a diplomat, nothing more. Yet now he was tied to something far greater. He wanted to deny it, to walk away, but deep inside, a strange feeling grew. A pull he could not explain. At that moment, the chamber doors opened again. This time it was not guards, but the council leader herself. Her staff glowed with authority, her many eyes fixed on Serenia. Then on Daniel she spoke slowly, each word heavy. The council has decided. Human, you will remain here under watch. Until we learn the truth of what has passed, do not resist, do not run, for your sake. And for hers. Daniel nodded stiffly. He had no choice. Guards escorted him to a private chamber, more like a prison than a guest room. The walls shimmered with energy. The door sealed tight that night. Daniel sat on the cold bench, his head in his hands. He could not sleep. His thoughts raced. A child. His child. Inside Serenia. A galaxy waiting to judge, enemies sharpening blades. He whispered to himself, what do I do now? Far away, Serenia sat alone in her own chamber, her hands on her stomach, feeling the glow pulse stronger than before. A single tear slid down her cheek. She whispered into the empty air. Forgive me, little one, I never meant for this. But I will protect you. Unknown to both of them, beyond the shining towers of Lumeris, whispers had already spread across the stars. Spies had carried the rumor. Rivals had listened. Enemies had smiled already. Hunters were preparing. Already death was moving closer. The galaxy would not stay silent, and soon, the shocking revelation would set fire to every corner of the stars. The news spread faster than light, faster than any ship could travel. It moved on whispers, on secret messages, on coded signals hidden inside trade routes by dawn. Half the galaxy already spoke of the impossible. An alien ambassador. Serenia, carrying the child of a human in the council chambers, chaos ruled. Delegates shouted in their own tongues. Some demanded explanations, others called for punishment. The great hall that once echoed with formality now shook with rage and fear. Earth has broken sacred law, cried a scaled warrior from the Zorak tribes. His claws scraped the marble floor. They are dangerous, they must be cast out before they infect the Union with their chaos. No, shouted a gentle-voiced alien from the Lyrian cluster. Perhaps this is a sign, a chance for unity. This child could be a bridge. Her words were drowned by jeers. A bridge of poison, another spat. A weapon hidden in the womb. Ambassador Serenia sat silent at the center. Her silver skin glowed faintly beneath her cloak. Her eyes hid pain, but also fire. She did not answer their attacks, not yet. Daniel, however, was forced to sit behind guarded walls. He was not allowed in the chamber, not allowed to defend himself. He paced his room like a trapped animal, listening to the distant thunder of voices through the walls. His fists clenched. They speak of me like I'm not even human, like I'm a disease. Outside, the protest had begun. Crowds filled the shining streets of Lumeris. Aliens shouted with banners that glowed with fury. Some demanded Serenia's removal. Some demanded the human's death, and some, strange and quiet, whispered prayers as if something holy had begun. By nightfall, the backlash grew violent. A mob stormed the lower gates of the council tower. Guards fought to keep them back. Fire filled the air. Daniel watched from his sealed window, his chest burning. "This is all because of a handshake," he whispered. But deep inside, he knew it was more later. A secret meeting gathered in the shadows of the palace. A circle of cloaked figures, leaders from rival worlds, their voices low but sharp. "If this child is born, it will destroy our balance. The people will see it as a symbol. It will weaken our control. We cannot allow it," another hissed. "Then we kill it before it breathes. Kill her, kill him. And bury the truth." The decision was sealed in silence. Shadows left the chamber, knives hidden beneath cloaks. Meanwhile, Serenia stood alone in her quarters. She pressed her hands against the glass wall. Looking at the stars, her stomach glowed faintly. The pulse stronger each day, she whispered. "Little one, you will not be erased. I will not allow it." The door opened quietly. Daniel slipped inside, escorted secretly by one of the younger guards who pitied him. His face was pale, but his eyes burned. "They're planning something. I can feel it, Serenia. They want to kill us both." She turned, her silver eyes wet with quiet pain. "I know," she whispered. "Already I hear the whispers. Already I see the way they look at me like I am cursed." Daniel stepped closer. "Then we need to leave. We can't stay here. If they want blood, they'll take it. But if we run, if we hide, maybe we can protect the child." Serenia shook her head slowly. "There is nowhere safe in this galaxy. Not while every leader fears what grows inside me." She looked down at her stomach, her hands trembling. "But you are right about one thing. We cannot wait. We must act before they strike." For the first time, Daniel saw her as more than the ambassador. She was a woman trapped by duty, fighting for life itself. He felt the pull inside his chest again. "Stronger than fear, stronger than reason," he said softly. "Then whatever happens, we face it together." Her eyes met his, something unspoken passing between them. Fragile but unbreakable. The next morning, the council leader announced the verdict. Her staff struck the ground. "Until further notice, Ambassador Serenia and the humans shall be kept under guard. They will not leave this city. The safety of the Union must come first." The words were wrapped in law, but everyone heard the truth. It was a cage, a waiting room for judgment, as the council dismissed far above in orbit. A fleet of warships adjusted their course. Their commanders had heard the same whispers. Some ships came to guard, others to watch, and some to prepare for silence through fire. Daniel looked out at the sky that evening, watching the stars flicker. But he did not see beauty. He saw blades, he saw enemies. He saw war waiting to fall, and he whispered, "The galaxy won't forgive this. But I won't let them kill her or the child. Not while I still breathe." What began with a single handshake now threatened to burn the stars. The council tower no longer felt like a palace. It was a prison. The walls hummed with energy fields. Guards patrolled the halls, and every doorway carried hidden eyes. Daniel knew it was only a matter of time before the whispers of death became real. That night the storm came. Not thunder and rain, but fire and chaos. The city below erupted in riots. Flames licked the lower markets, protesters clashed with soldiers. The sky itself shook with the roar of ships descending. Their shadows covered the moons. Daniel stood at the window of his chamber. Fists clenched, he could hear the crowd chanting. Words he could not fully understand, but whose meaning was clear. They wanted blood. The door slid open without warning. He turned quickly, ready to fight, but it was not a guard, it was Serenia. Her cloak drawn tight, her face pale but burning with urgency. Behind her, a younger guard slipped in, the same one who had pitied Daniel before. The guard's voice was low and sharp. "They have ordered your removal by dawn. You will not live." "We must move now." Daniel's heart hammered. He looked at Serenia, her hand pressed against her stomach. The glow faint but steady, she whispered. "They will not stop until the child is gone. We must escape the city." The young guard handed Daniel a small device, a sphere no bigger than his palm. "This will hide you from their sensors for a short time, but once you leave the tower, the hunt begins." He looked at Serenia with quiet reverence. "Forgive me, Ambassador, I cannot go with you. If they know I helped, my family will pay." Serenia touched his shoulder softly. "Your courage is enough." Moments later, Daniel and Serenia moved through hidden corridors. Every step was filled with danger. The air buzzed with alarms as chaos outside grew louder. Twice they ducked into shadow as patrols marched past. their glowing weapons casting deadly light on the walls. At last, they reached the outer landing platform. Dozens of ships floated beyond, but most were locked or guarded. Daniel's pulse quickened. "We'll never make it." Serenia pointed to the far edge where a small craft rested, old and worn, its silver hull scarred. "That ship belongs to the old trade guild. Few remember it still works," before they could move. A voice rang out sharp as steel. "Stop them!" Guards surged forward, weapons raised. Daniel's instincts screamed. He grabbed Serenia's hand and ran. The sound of boots thundered behind them. Energy bolts cracked the air. Scorching the platform around their feet, sparks flew. Fire hissed. Daniel pulled her down behind a broken crate, his breath ragged. "We can't outrun them." Serenia closed her eyes, whispering words in her own language. The patterns on her skin flared bright. A wave of light burst outward, blinding the guards for a heartbeat. Their shouts turned to confusion now. She gasped. They ran again. Feet pounding metal, the old ship loomed ahead. Daniel hit the controls, praying they still worked. The hatch creaked open. They stumbled inside, sealing the door just as energy blasts struck the hull. The ship shook violently. Daniel rushed to the cockpit. His hands fumbled over strange symbols. Serenia sat beside him, her voice calm but urgent. "Press the second row, left side, then pull the blue lever." He obeyed. The engines roared, ancient but alive. The ship lifted, groaning. Flames and smoke filled the view as they rose. Guards fired from the platform, streaks of deadly light chasing them. Daniel pulled the controls hard. The ship jerked, weaving between towers. Below, the city blazed. Protesters and soldiers clashed in rivers of fire above. The sky filled with hunters, sleek black ships already turning toward them. Serenia's voice shook. "They will not let us go, Daniel. They will chase until we fall." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Then we'll give them a chase they'll never forget." The first hunter ship fired. A beam of red sliced past their hull. The old craft shuddered, warning lights flashing. Daniel gritted his teeth, twisting the controls. "Hold on!" The ship dove sharply, slipping between two glowing towers. The hunters followed, their weapons lighting the night. Sparks rained as one blast grazed their wing. The ship screamed but held. Serenia clutched the seat, her other hand still pressed to her stomach. Her glow flickered with every jolt. Daniel glanced at her, fear burning his chest. "She's carrying my child. I can't let her die." The hunters closed in, faster, deadlier. The old ship could not outrun them. Daniel's mind raced. He remembered the device the young guard had given, the small sphere. He grabbed it, slamming it onto the console. At once the ship flickered, its image bent like water. The hunters roared past, their sensors blind. They fired into empty space, missing completely. Daniel exhaled hard, his hands shook. Serenia looked at him with awe. "You may not know our ways, human, but your courage burns like fire." He gave a short laugh, bitter and tired. "Courage or madness? I don't know anymore." The device's glow began to fade. They had only moments before the hunters saw them again. Daniel steered the ship toward the dark side of the moon. Hiding in its shadow, the silence there was heavy, broken only by the hum of failing engines. For now they were safe. But Daniel knew the truth. This is only the beginning. They won't stop. "Not until we're dead." Serenia looked at him, her silver eyes fierce even in fear. "Then we must not stop either, for the child. We must keep running." Outside, the galaxy burned, and in the shadows of a dying moon, a human and an alien carried a secret that could change it forever. The old ship floated in the shadow of the moon. Its engines were failing, its hull scarred inside. Daniel and Serenia sat in silence. The hum of broken systems echoed through the cabin. Every flicker of light reminded them their time was short. Daniel's fingers drummed against the console, his eyes never leaving the dark sky outside. He knew the hunters were still searching, scanning every crater, every shadow. They had escaped for now, but it would not last. Serenia sat beside him, her cloak wrapped tightly. Her silver skin still glowed faintly, but the light pulsed stronger around her stomach. She pressed her hand there, her voice low. "The child grows quickly, faster than it should. Already it beats like a star." Daniel looked at her, fear and awe mixing inside him. "And that's why they're afraid, isn't it? Not of me, not of you, but of what this child means." She nodded slowly. "To them it is a threat, a breaking of the order they cling to. To me, it is hope." Before Daniel could answer, the ship's sensors lit up. Blips filled the screen, dozens of ships surrounding the moon. He cursed under his breath. They've found us. Moments later, a transmission broke through. The voice of the council leader filled the cabin, sharp and cold. Ambassador Serenia, human Daniel, you are ordered to surrender. Hand over the abomination you carry. And peace may still hold, refuse, and you will be destroyed. Serenia's jaw tightened. Her silver eyes burned with fury. Abomination? This is life, this is future, they cannot see it. But they will. Daniel leaned toward the screen, his voice strong despite the fear clawing at him. We're not surrendering, not now, not ever. The transmission cut, and outside the fleet moved closer, a wall of light and steel. Weapons ready to fire. Daniel turned to Serenia. We can't fight them, not with this ship, but maybe. His eyes narrowed on the surface below. We can make them see, force them to witness what they fear. Serenia tilted her head. What do you mean? Daniel gripped the controls. We don't run anymore. We land on the Council's war station in front of everyone if they want to kill us. They'll have to do it where all the galaxy is watching. Her eyes widened at his madness, then softened. You risk death for a world that barely accepts you? Daniel gave a tired smile. Earth may be small, but we don't back down when it matters. And this matters more than anything. She placed her glowing hand over his, steadying it on the controls. Then we go together. The old ship roared weakly as it broke from the moon's shadow. Engines screaming, it darted toward the massive station at the heart of the fleet. Immediately, hunter ships swarmed, firing beams of deadly red. Daniel twisted the controls, weaving between blasts. The hull shook violently, alarms screamed. Sparks lit the cabin. Hold on, Daniel shouted, pulling the ship into a desperate dive. The hunters followed, but the station loomed ahead, a giant of steel and light. Thousands of eyes watched from its decks and windows. Daniel pushed the engines to their limit. Smoke filled the cabin. The ship spiraled toward the landing bay, crashing down in a shower of sparks. The hull screeched as it slid across the floor. Finally slamming to a stop, silence followed. Broken only by the groan of metal, Daniel staggered out, dragging Serenia with him. The bay was filled with soldiers, weapons aimed. Thousands of viewers across the galaxy tuned in as the scene broadcast live. Serenia pulled back her hood. Her silver patterns blazed brighter than ever. She placed both hands on her glowing stomach and raised her voice. Look at me, all of you. Look at what you fear. This is not a curse, not a weapon. This is the proof that two worlds can become one. The soldiers hesitated, whispers rippling through their ranks. Some lowered their weapons. Others stared in awe at the living light beneath her hands. Daniel stepped beside her, his voice loud, unshaking. If you kill her, if you kill this child, you kill the future of peace. You prove that fear rules you, not wisdom. But if you let this child live, you show the galaxy that unity is possible, that we are more than walls in war. The bay trembled with silence. Soldiers exchanged glances, leaders whispered into comms. The galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath.